South Africa 1970, and after 24 tests, there suddenly was an All Black side without Ken Gray. Just before the tour, Ken Gray had surprised rugby fans everywhere by retiring from the game.
The great thing about Ken, he's the modest hero, the Ed Hillary modest hero, who decides he's revolted by South Africa long before it became politically correct.
In fact, amongst the hardcore rugby fraternity, Gray's refusal to tour South Africa was too politically correct by far, and he was bitterly attacked. But the memories of his play in the 60s remain.
Then Gray charges from the ruck to score near the posts. Already crowding the sidelines, hundreds of young spectators pour onto the paddock.
The history of rugby will always reflect him as one of the greatest props of all time, possibly the greatest. But he was much more than that. As a lot of prop forwards often are.
Ken Gray, Chris Laidlaw, they played together and then they turned to politics. Laidlaw was running for Labour in Wellington Central, Ken Gray, Labour in Western Hutt.
Someone who was strict about himself, very strict about what he stood for, and I think would have made a great Member of Parliament, no question.
But mostly Gray will be remembered not for what he could have been, but what he was. An All Black who at his best was as good as All Blacks get. John Campbell, 3 National News.
Old St Paul's was packed with people who remembered Ken Gray not just as an All Black, but for his involvement in theatre and local and national politics. He would have stood for Labour in the next election, but died last week, aged 54.
I saw a man stand in front of a mountain do its thing behind the man, and such was the greatness of the man, and such the understanding nature of the mountain. They looked so good together.
To celebrate the many and varied contributions he made to life in this country in general, and to Wellington and Porirua in particular.
Ken Gray's funeral was attended by over 600 mourners. Gary Scott, 3 National News.